We started with a handful of schools and communities in Northern California. People visited these schools and saw magic happening. They said, we want to be more like that, where students love what they're doing. So folks will ask me, like, what do we do? How do we start? How do we transform our school?
It was different in a good way. They actually want to get to know you as a person.
It's really nice to feel heard and feel seen about what we want and what we care about.
They were really trying to help me in my future.
Before I came to this school, I was spending so much time stressing about the schoolwork.
At regular school, they really don't care. They don't care about your interests.
Here's a textbook, write it down, you'll be fine.
My anxiety was critical. I didn't have hope for my own life.
It can be really, really stressful, especially when you fall behind.
I butted heads with every teacher I had, any counselor I had. I'd never thought they were actually trying to help.
There wasn't a family. Everybody did their own things.
They set me up for failure. I would get Fs, and I was just sick and tired of it.
Traditional schooling teaches you how to work in a factory. It's Industrial Revolution teaching.
In the year that Windsor Oaks Academy had the largest number of student graduates was the worst year that we had ever experienced.
As a teacher, I was feeling very unfulfilled.
Constantly dealing with a system that wasn't working for everybody.
They had a packet system. There was an aide who would basically give them the answers so that they could write them on the packet, and then they would turn in the packet and then they would get their credit, so they weren't learning anything.
I didn't feel like what I had going on was inspiring at all.
I failed 9th grade at the other high school. I kind of lost track with regular schooling.
I started falling further and further behind, so I just kind of gave up.
Our new IT director came in. He says, "Hi, I'm Tim, how you doing?" And I said, "I'm doing terrible." And I just unloaded on him. He said, "You know, I just came from Idaho, and we had this great school. It was a big picture learning school."
I started looking for some alternative program that we could learn from and incorporate back at our school here.
I worked in the Bay Area, some coworkers who worked with MetWest, which was the big picture school in Oakland. We started talking about the programs that they were doing, just really focusing on student interests, and everything she said I felt really aligned with where we were trying to head.
She came in, she told us about big picture. We started rolling out the ideas, talking to staff, making sure they understood where we were going.
It just seemed like a really good fit for what we were trying to achieve with our students, which is to have some promise and hope after they graduate.
I didn't think about what other ways there were until Holly came and started talking about kids learning from what interests them, and it was like, oh my God, what a concept.
Tim connected me with the principal in Idaho. We really started to get an idea of what the amount of work it takes to make this kind of change, but also the positive, great things that happen in the process. We said, you know, we're going to go to the board and see if the board will allow us to pursue this.
I started talking to the superintendent, Becky Walker. She was looking at it sort of like it's a new math program. She slowly started to go, oh, big picture learning, this is a whole different way of education.
The board approved a 2-year pilot. The fall of that next year, we were a big picture school. All of us, including me, didn't really know what we were doing. And so we needed help.
My role was to help folks understand how they wanted to be and figure out how to get there.
We need to educate all of us, staff and students, what is really big picture.
We spent days and days in PD, professional development, because we wanted to.
We actually had a series of trainings the final week of school, and I thought, this is going to go bad. How could I possibly have extra time and then go in the afternoon to have big picture training? I just found myself at the end of every training higher than when I got there.
We said, here's our philosophy, here's the end game, here's what we want to do.
We looked at what we do well, what we want to improve, where we wanted to be.
Y'all do learning plans? Updated? Yeah. We envisioned 5 years from now, what is wild success? name specific examples of things that were happening 5 years from now. From there, we kind of developed a school learning plan.
I just couldn't wrap my head around what a learning plan was going to be. Once I did my own, I was able to explain it better to the students.
So it's not just us telling the kids what to do, but we are also doing the things that we are asking our students to do.
Everything about it looks completely different. If you just like put all that, what you think of education is on a table and just look at it and go, wow, this is what I know, I'm familiar with this. Now flip that table upside down.
When they come in to coach, they ask you a whole bunch of questions. It feels as the professional like you're not supposed to ask me questions, you're supposed to give me stuff. I want a map. I want some documents. Give me a binder. They continue to, in a supportive way, ask what your interests are as a teacher and the outcomes you want. The advisors receiving that coaching connect to what's happening. Instead of feeling like you want a binder, you're starting to feel, this is how I'm supposed to be. This is how this works.
You have your exhibitions coming up, right?
Mm-hmm. For me, the exhibition is I start to think about all the things I've done.
Nice.
It's more of a for me thing. I just have a knowledge of all the things I've already done and learned.
That's great.
Nice.
When we need to do something to change, we need to convince people to do it. To convince people, we need to believe and we need to make sure that is the right thing.
Connie was just like, yes, let's do this, let's change. But she wanted to make sure the whole staff was on board first.
It was unlearning a lot of stuff for us.
Having big picture coaches really helped us have a really good understanding of what it's like to be an advisor and to be a school leader, ensuring that what we were doing was in students' best interest.
There were certain people that were like, you're going to be an advisor because you have a really good relationship with students, or you're a really positive person, and I think that's going to be something that's going to be important, or you're an adventurer, and students love that kind of thing.
I think a lot of the first year is establishing vision, guiding values, and recognizing when tradition's gravity is pulling us back toward what we've known.
Where shall we start?
Start at the top.
I think the secret of Big Picture is to make the kids understand and believe they're an asset.
It's amazing as an advisor how little time it takes engaging in that asset conversation for that young person to start to see possibilities instead of barriers and limits.
Looking at the student with what they bring to the table, the positives in their life.
To throw out the model of reminding a student who's chronically tardy, hey, you're late today. Just being able to say to the student, I'm so glad you're here. Let's get started.
For me, it was a relief to approach them with an idea of curiosity.
I thought to myself, this doesn't cost any money. This is just me working on how I deal with students.
Thanks for being here, Ryan and Summer. Summer, Shadow Day has moved to 10:30.
Okay.
Apparently one of her chickens got murdered.
Oh, no.
So
that's gruesome.
I mean, life on a farm, right? Foxes get in there and that happens.
Getting students out into internships is a huge focus of what we do.
If you can give students LTIs, learning through interest, internships, have mentors that support them, these students start to build social equity.
They're getting out into the community as a necessary component of their learning.
Once I got the internship, it was like a switch that they turned on, and it kind of just helped me not everywhere now.
Students sometimes aren't so hot on their coursework, but if they're in a good internship, it turns everything around.
I get to really be part of the community. I go out and I do general contracting, and my mentor, he works with a lot of nonprofits in the area, and it's really nice being able to like effectively help people. I'm like turning back on their heat.
There aren't a lot of adults in the community who don't value electric, engaged youth who share an interest with them.
It really was Dana who said, we just need to get a couple kids and get them out. Our students aren't really getting this, and we have never experienced it. One day we just said, you know what, go for it. In this case, it was a student that loved cattle. We connected him with Santa Rosa Junior College, school farm, and he was working with cattle. We had another guy, he got an internship at a fire department. It was the two of them going out and all the other students going, wait a minute, I want to do that too, that got the momentum going. And so by the second year, we really felt like we were a big picture school.
So just thinking about valuing math, what does that even look like? Why would you appreciate math? It's about how you're using it within your area of interest and how it might apply. I see your smile there and I love it because I smile when I think about that too.
It's more of a conversation. It's something that evolves over time than like a one-time test.
We had to go to the board and say, we want to keep doing this. And I was watching the board and they're not getting it. There was one board member that says, maybe we could let you have it another, maybe 5 years. No, I need to talk to you from the heart. I said, do it for the students. And it passed.
One of the biggest takeaways for me is just what it looks like in practice for these design principles, how they're implemented one school at a time in the same way that it's one student at a time.
Big picture learning is contagious. We love having the other schools come to visit us.
Having an opportunity to network across space and time.
Helping each other with different tactics.
It's different every year and it's different with every set of kids.
I reached out to another English teacher at another big picture school. He helped me, he gave me ideas.
I've gotten ideas from Rhode Island and from LA and from Washington.
We all believe in this work, so we all want to help each other.
For a long time, it was like, oh, we want them to do this and we want them to do that. It's like, no, how do I ask the right question to get them to come up with the ideas themselves?
It's like, okay, well, what if we did this? What if I contacted this person?
Every single time, it's so much more powerful for them.
You can start with an idea and then just roll with it and get other people involved. They get a little tired of me saying, okay, do something about it. And they're just like, oh no, what do I have to do?
Before I came to Big Picture South Valley, I definitely didn't think I would have graduated.
Coaching the principal to create those conditions where it's safe to fail for teachers is really important.
Chris, of course, has been our backup.
I ask my teachers to go into the classroom and try things you've never tried before.
We want them to take great risks.
Oftentimes, students haven't had this in their life anywhere previously.
You start finding kids that you thought had no voice saying, I want to try this.
I brought my Native community a mural for one of our MMIW victims, Khadijah Britton. Putting Khadijah on the wall brought so much honor to my people. It was able for us to be heard and seen. I love that one little idea of mine was able to turn into something so powerful and so beautiful for my people.
Possibly. Thank you. One of the most memorable projects was building my own little house. It meant a lot that I was able to get credit for it. It was just for me. It wasn't for the school,
Once you kind of know yourself and you know what you want to do, it's much easier to create a vision for the future after you have that vision. Just the environment here really guides you to get to where you want to be.
It's our job as educators and as the community to make sure that there's equity.
There's so many ways I could earn credits. One of them was learning about my culture even more. I had gathered basket materials and figured that I could teach everybody how to make baskets. I was able to spread some Native American heritage throughout my fellow students.
I love school and I love learning and I love choosing what I really want to do.
My trike that I'm going to have in my finals exhibition started out as something I wanted to do. Almost every day after I did something big on it, I'd photograph it to show others what I learned and how I learned it. Big Picture allows me to actually do stuff outside of school.
I started my internship to be a part of the Ukiah Valley Youth Leadership Coalition. In Ukiah, smoke shops sell whippets, nitrous oxide. Smoke shops shouldn't be selling them. We went to the city council and they agreed smoke shops aren't allowed to sell them anymore. Knowing that people actually care about the youth in our community is so powerful to me. Getting the youth to know their own power, that's pretty great.